you're watching this video, it's because I couldn't make it today because I'm working till 9 and I don't know when you're going to do your speeches. But if I can't make it, Ashley can play this video. So currently I'm about to head to school for the last time. It's gonna be the last time I get to be in a place with all my friends at once, or you guys more specifically. It's where I met all you guys. Well, besides a couple people, I met a couple people at different schools, probably behind me, but you guys don't know. This is my only take, so if it sucks, bear with me, because I'm not doing this again. I'm a one-hit wonder, and I just want to say I'm grateful to have all of you. You know, when I first invited all you guys to my house on Thursday, not Thursday, I mean it wasn't Thursday, but in November for my Friendsgiving, I didn't expect things to end out like this. But I'm happy they did, because I've never had such an amazing group of friends in my life. You know, each one of you are special in your own way to me, and you deserve to know that. I value each of you as one of my own family, and I will get into that because Haley mentioned that she's doing individual speeches, so me being me, I'm gonna one-up her. Even though it's straight off the dome and straight from my stomach. But it's truly been a blessing to watch all of you guys come together. And it's sort of like a proud moment for me, because you guys have been my friends, you know. There's a reason I invited you guys that one day. And it's so special that I get to watch you guys grow and form your own relationships with each other. It's been nothing but surreal to me. And I know a couple of you guys are moving, and that bums me out a ton. You know, as much as I don't like to admit it, I do think about that every day, and it's still going to hurt me every bit the same. You know, I'm going to miss Crystal. I'm going to miss Audi. I'm going to miss Haley. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm gonna miss all you guys. And Ashley, I would miss Ashley, but she's moving like down the street. I don't care. But it is going to be something that I'm gonna have to learn to deal with. You know, knowing that my friends aren't so close, and knowing that I can't just pop up whenever I want and say hi. No, I still will. Believe me, I still will. You're gonna catch me moving across the country just to say hi. But knowing that it's not gonna be as easy, that hurts me, you know. It hurts me. Especially since I just got you guys, and now you're heading out, doing your own thing. As proud as I am of you guys, I'm still gonna miss you. I still wish you wouldn't move, but I know you guys are doing your own things. You know, you're making your way up, and I couldn't be more proud of every one of you, regardless of if you're moving or not. Miriam going to Fullerton, Jonathan going to Long Beach, Martin also went to Long Beach, different Long Beaches, but still worth mentioning. America and Andrew, don't know where you guys are going, but I'm proud of you guys regardless. You guys have always been one of my favorite couples. I'll say one of my favorites because Myra, I know Myra, and Myra is going to get all heated if I say favorite. So, one of my favorites. And Myra and Audi too. You guys have been one of my favorite couples. You know, even though I deserve Audi more, I'm still happy you guys have each other, and you guys compliment each other so well. I couldn't imagine a better relationship, and it's honestly so nice to see that contribute to everything that I have going on in my life. You know, you guys have always been there, and will continue to be there, even if you're not so close to me. And I do want to mention that because I feel like I've gone so long without really showing appreciation for you guys, and now I want to take the time to actually do that, because who knows when I'm going to do it, be able to do next, could be at a funeral for it. All I know, there's no telling what tomorrow's going to bring for us. So I want to get this out now, and considering it may be the last, but I know it won't be. This isn't goodbye. It's see you later. And I do want to see you guys later. I want to see you guys every year in my future. However many years I have left to live, you guys will always be a part of it. And I just want you to know that, because without you guys, I'd be utterly alone. And I know I love being alone. You guys know that about me. I like being alone, but I don't like it. I don't like it at the same time. You guys have shown me that I do want people in my life. I do want to enjoy moments with a group of people who actually care about me and who I care about. And I never really experienced that until now. You guys have brought that into my life and into my mindset, and I truly couldn't imagine my life without you guys. I say you guys, but I want to point out Jackie, Crystal, Audi, Andrew, Myra, Martin, Jonathan, Ashley, Miriam, Haley, and if I forget anyone, I'm screwed. Crystal, Jackie, Howdy, Myra, Andrew, America. Oh, I don't think I said America. America, I'm sorry. I forgot you. I think I got everyone. If I could be there right now, I'd probably be bawling my eyes out. Even though I haven't done that in a while. And I probably should. Well, I'm sure I can hear you guys' speech another time. But you guys can hear mine. And I hope it's as good as I hope it's. Well, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be from my heart. And it is from my heart. Because these words mean everything to me. I didn't think I'd ever say them, I kind of struggle with showing affection and appreciation. And for those who have heard my ASB presentation on my vision board, you know that about me. And even setting up this camera, my heart was like pumping. So I'm like, what do I say? What do I do? I went in blind, as you guys know about me. I tend to not think things through, and I just go with the flow. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But it seems like I know what I want to say. These words have always been in me. I just needed an outlet. And I know I should think of every day as an outlet to show my appreciation, but it's hard for me. And I'm not really used to all that. But I'm willing to step outside my comfort zone for you guys, if it means even just making you guys feel a little more cared and appreciated for. Because I do value each one of you in your own way. Myra as... Okay, I'm gonna get into this now. Myra, as mean, rude, and loud you are, you're one of the kindest people I know. You're always listening to me rant, even though you make fun of me a lot. But when it gets down to it, you always listen. And that's something I haven't really felt that... I'm gonna rephrase. that's something I don't have much of in my life. You know? As much as you guys hear me speak, it's because you guys are willing to listen. You know, not many people are willing to listen, and that's what I love about you guys. You, as much as, let me rephrase, as I may be sometimes. Oh, sorry, new video. As annoying as I may be sometimes, you guys will always listen to me, and having that in my life is truly a blessing. You guys don't know how much it means to me, how much words have gone unspoken because I felt no one listened, how much times I just sat there just in my head because I had no one to talk to. And I'm truly grateful I met you guys, because you guys have opened the door to me on what it is to be a person, you know, be social, like express yourself. And for that, I'm truly grateful for you guys, because now I get to be my own person and really experience what it's like to have friends, to live, you know, to speak. And it's just amazing to me. Audi. Audi's always been there for me since elementary school. I'm sure all of you guys know that already. He has been there for me throughout my life, even though we never really talked much since elementary until high school. He's always been one of the kindest people I know. You know, he just radiates this positivity around him that just attracts people, and it's exactly what I needed in my life. You know, I needed someone to keep me grounded in my morals, keep me grounded in my thoughts. You know, every time I stray into a negative place, Audi's always the one keeping me still into this positive mindset, and it's really something I've always needed. And I'm grateful to have that in my life, especially through Audi. You know, when I went through my breakup, I mentioned it in ASB for the first time, and without hesitation, this man just hugged me. He didn't know what happened. He didn't know how I was feeling. He didn't know whose fault it was. But he hugged me. He said, "Art, it's okay." And that to me just shows what kind of a person Audi is. And it's truly amazing the man he is. And I couldn't be more proud of who he's become. And I know, Audi, you said you want to take risks in life. You want to be more adventurous. But you already are. You know, you already are adventurous in your own way, even if you don't realize it. The things you do, your mindset, it's something not many people have, and it's unique in its own way, and I don't think you should change that. You know, you're everyone's rock, and everyone appreciates you as much as you probably may not have paid much attention to, but you are everyone's rock. Who do I get into next? I should probably be at school right now. Katie's probably pissed. Let's do Jacqueline Alvarez. I don't know if she's there. She probably might, considering it's Canes. But Jacqueline Alvarez, I've known you since freshman year. You know, I know we said we wouldn't talk about freshman year, but here we are, and I am talking about it. So freshman year, Jacqueline Alvarez, I remember she was dating my friend Alan, and I'm like, who is this weird girl that my boy's dating? And to this day, I still think you're the weird girl. But you're the coolest weirdo I know. You know, every time I've gone up to you, you've always just had this positivity. Even if, like, you're stressing about APs or college applications, you always greet me with a smile every time I walk up. And you know I'm gonna say some bullshit's about to come out of my mouth, but you still listen regardless. And you're always like this oasis I can go to in any situation, regardless of if it's an important event that we're at, regardless on if it's like a dance. You're always this person that I know is there for me, regardless of where we're at. And I know that I haven't known you long, and that we barely talk. I mean, we do talk, but not much. But you're still one of my best friends, and I want you to know that. I appreciate you being my vice president. I appreciate you being my friend, and I just appreciate you. And what was I gonna say? And although I appreciate you, La La Land is my movie. Just thought you should know that. Anyways, let's do, well, since we're on Jack, you might as well do Crystal. And I know I already yapped that Crystal's going away party, but I can yap some more, because it's Crystal though, you know. So, about Crystal, I've also known her since kindergarten. You know, I have, my earliest memory of her is walking in on her using the restroom because she didn't lock the door. So that's, take that as you will. It shows whatever person Crystal is, leaves the door unlocked. You know, and she does that because she's always open to everyone. You know, she lets people in, and that's what I love about her. You know, no matter who you are, what you're going through, or where you're at, Crystal always has her door open for anyone, whether it be me, whether it be Jonathan, whether it be, I don't know who else she's helped out, but she's always there. You know, she's always across the street from me, always willing to help. And that to me is everything. You know, it's not often you can find people who are always on standby, who are always willing to help. You know, whether it be giving me rides to school, or simply just like giving me stuff for my grad cap. You know, she's always one call away, and I couldn't be more grateful to have someone like Crystal in my life. You know, especially if I'm going through something. You know, like, she'll help me out. You know, I'm not one to take advice from people. Well, I do take advice from people, but I'm not one to ask for it. But with Crystal, I definitely think she's up there on the people I take advice from, because she's just, on like this level above. You know, not even academically, just as a person. You know, everyone talks about her academics, but no one talks about how great she is as a person. You know, that's also worth noting. She's kind, she's funny, she's smart, but when people talk about Crystal, they just talk about number 3, UPenn. You know, Thrive. No, that's not the Crystal I know. The Crystal I know is considerate, kind, compassionate. You know, freak, biggest one of all, biggest freak. And I don't think that should be overlooked. I think that's exactly what I think of when I think of Crystal. But people just need to realize that more. Anyways, who's next? I think this is about to be another 10-minute mark. Holy yap. You guys are gonna watch anyways. Let's do Andrew, my king. Oh, never mind, it doesn't cut off at 10 minutes. Okay, Andrew, my king, my glory, my man. I haven't known Andrew very long. I think I met him last year, but even last year I didn't really talk to him much. But I do remember playing tennis with Andrew and skating with Andrew at one point in my freshman year. When I first met Andrew, I thought, this guy is so cool. You know, he was doing flippy thingies off the stairs on the skateboard. Oh, it cut off. He was just doing his own thing, you know, doing like flips and tricks and stuff. Like, not saying anything. I think he was the coolest person ever. And to this day, that still stands. Yeah. Andrew's probably one of the best people I've met. You know, oh, Andrew, you're listening. You know. You're one of the coolest people I've met. And you're one of the funniest. You know, even though you don't say much, whatever you do say, it's just never fails to make the crowd laugh. You know, you just always this person who's helping. You know? Whether it's just getting drunk and like we're taking care of you, you're helping everyone. You know, you're someone everyone can agree that. What's the word for it? What's the word? We can all agree that you're reliable. You're reliable in the sense that you keep everyone's like thoughts cleared, and you're just the go-to friend for anything. You know, if someone needs something simple, they go to Andrew, or I go to Andrew. You know, as a distraction for anything. You know, you're such a positive soul and such a rare soul that I can come to you and I could talk about God knows what, and it'll make me feel better about anything. You know, even if you don't explicitly help me out, you do help me out, because that's just the kind of person you are. You know, you just have this energy about you that can put like your mind at ease, and I'm sure that's what America loves about you, but I love it more personally. On the topic of America, might as well get into Americas right now. America Vargas, I've known you since junior year, last year. It was math class. You and Katie called me up to your board because you were lost and you needed help. Now, I went up to this board and I told you, I don't know what I'm doing. And you guys laughed in my face. And that was the beginning of everything. You and Katie have been one of the best people I've met. And every day, regardless of what you're going through, your moods, because I know that there's been a couple of days, more than a couple of days, where you're just out of it. You know, you're done with everything. You don't want to talk to anyone, and yet you still are so caring. And that to me is just like amazing. You know, that it's not easy, and it doesn't go unnoticed, because I notice it. Because you just walk in, and yet you still ask, "How are you?" And you don't find that in many people nowadays. It's really rare to meet someone like you, because your mind is just constantly, just subconsciously thinking about others. And I know that you're one of the most positive people I've ever met. Even if you be hating on everyone, on the down low, you're still like the most bubbly, energetic person. Well, energetic in the sense that when you do have energy, because there's been times where you're just moping, but when you do have energy, you're one of the most energetic people I've met. You know, hearing your cackle is just it just lights up the room. Everyone laughs. Literally no one could hate America Vargas. And as much as like I don't say it enough, but I'm really grateful to have you, or to have had you in my math class every year. And I don't know where you're going. I don't know what you're doing. But I know that wherever you are, I'll always want you in my life. Not only for the brownies, not only for the cookies, but for you. You guys have helped me get through math these past 2 years, and I'm grateful. My back. Who else? Who's next? If I do Miriam, I have to do Ashley. I don't want to do Ashley. I'll do Miriam. Okay. Miriam Rosas. I've known you since August of this last year, actually. We got last year already. Wait, let me check my phone. Let's see what time it is. Oh, 9:47. Okay, we're good. So Miriam, I've known you since August of last year. You know, I've always known of you. You know, you sat behind me in history, and I've always seen you walking around. I always saw you mysterious, nonchalant, and just on this level above everyone that you don't even need to glance at anyone. But now I know that if you don't glance at anyone, it's because you don't have your glasses on, and there's nothing nonchalant about you. But that's not a bad thing. That's probably one of the things that makes you like so incredible as a person, that you're not nonchalant, that you enjoy to laugh, that you enjoy to eat. These are the things that like make me value you as a friend. You know, as much I'm not one to believe in you have to know someone a certain amount of time to be able to appreciate them more. I think regardless of how long you've known someone, you can still appreciate them incredibly. And that's the case here. You know, I've only known you, I'm not even gonna count. More than 6 months, though. More than 6 months, and I still think you're one of my best friends. You know, because even though I didn't know you, I still invited you to the Clairo concert. And that's when I really got to know you. Well, not really. Barely. Scratching the surface. But still, it's like, as soon as I started talking to you, you're just this person with all their interests. Like, so much about you that I didn't know. And I never thought you could laugh. And the fact that you could make me laugh, that was crazy to me. I'm like, holy shit, this is insane. You know, I'm meeting this person that I've always like put on a pedestal above me, and now I'm friends with you. It's crazy. Like, and now you put up with all my stuff. You know, I lost your charger, and you were on me for like a month about that. And it's crazy to me how things can change, you know. Now we're friends, and I'm really grateful to have you in my life, because you brought something different, and I need different. I need change. I need new. And I'm grateful that you could bring that to me. And I know you're not moving, but I'm still gonna miss you when you go off to college. And I'm gonna miss not being able to say what up, pussy, in the halls when I'm passing by you. But for everything that I miss at school, there's gonna be a whole nother lot of memories that we're gonna make. So I'm really grateful for you too, Miriam. Emily's texting me. Anyway, I said if I do Miriam, I had to do Ashley. Unless you were right on time. Oh, that's all, folks. Yes, roll the credits. Nah, I'm kidding. I'll do Ashley's right now. So, Ashley Kenya. Holy yeah. I know I've only known you since, I think, June of last year. You know, when Jeff Maloney announced that we were going to be the cabinet for ASB. That's when I first actually knew that you were going to be a part of my life. And I didn't know you enough to know that you were going to be such a good person. This incredible aspect of my life. I didn't know what I was in store for. I didn't know that I was going to be getting rides from you and sitting in the footrest of your passenger seat, you know, to the point where my neck is basically about to crack. I didn't know that I was going to be walking with the balloon arch over my shoulders to your house in the burning sun. You know, I didn't know that I was going to be invited to your birthday party where my coworker Patty was. I didn't know these things. And I think it's amazing to me how much we've been through in such a short amount of time. You know, like I said for Miriam's, I don't believe in having to know people a certain amount of time to appreciate them even more. And I think that's the case with you too. I haven't known you long, and we haven't been many places. Well, we've been everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. Yet, you're still such a big part of my life, even though you're so small. You're like, as much as I hate to say it, you're such a funny person. You're really energetic, and you just bring so much joy into my life. And every day is the same thing, you know. I'd make fun of you a little, and you'd always do the and I'd be lying if I said those weren't one of the best parts of my day. You know, as much as I hate to say it, physics was kind of empty without you. And I missed having all those classes with you, even though I still had too many than anyone should. Poor Audi. God bless your soul. But it was a little emptier without you, you know, without us being lost, because I was lost, but you were lost too, so that's what made it bearable. But I'm glad you got out of there. You know, every time you talk to me about anything important, I try to lock in, but sometimes I make jokes, and that's what I do. I make jokes about everything. But you know that. And you put up with it regardless. I'm always here to help you, you know, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. But I'm always here. And you were always there too. You've always been there. Anytime I needed help, anytime I needed a ride, anytime I just needed someone there, you were there. And I truly couldn't be more grateful to have someone like you in my life. And I said and a lot. That doesn't matter. But I really am grateful for you, for welcoming me into your home, meeting your parents. I'm grateful for all of that. Grateful for the times you got us food, and for everything, really. You've been such an amazing friend to me, and I don't think my senior year would have been nearly as good as if I didn't meet you. I still can't get my line work straight. I will tell you that after all this year in ASB, my line work still sucks. And you can torment me about that for as long as I live. But as long as I live, I hope to have Ashley Pena as a friend. And what was I gonna say? Don't get me wrong though, you're still little A and you still PMO. But I'll always listen to what you have to say instead of giving you the YBASU. And again, I'm really grateful to have you in my life. Let's see where we're at. We got Medica, Andrew Dunn, Myra, Audi Dunn, Jackie, Crystal Dunn, Audi, Myra, Jackie, Crystal, Andrew, Medica, Miriam, Ashley, Ani Haley's. I forgot about Haley. Okay. Haley Gonzalez. Or should I say Apple? Or Haybell? Or Bailey, as Ashley called you yesterday. I don't know how I met you. I don't know when. I don't know where. But I'm really glad I did. As much of a secluded person you are, and as much as you keep to yourself, you're this energetic, you're such an energetic person that anytime you walk in the room, you just never fail to bring smiles everywhere. As much of a smiley person I am, there's been times where I don't want to smile, and where I just want to keep it to myself. And you managed to break that. You could bring light into a room of darkness. Oops. And as much as I've barely known you too, you're still an incredible part of my life. And I've always known of you. I've always known of Haley Gonzalez, but I've never got to know Haley Gonzalez until this year. And I can tell you personally, from what I've seen, that she is a person worth knowing. She is the person that you need in your life, regardless of whether you think you need it or not. You need Haley Gonzalez in your life. And I will die on that hill, because I feel like my life without her has just been nothing compared to with her. And I think you should be proud of that, Haley. You should be proud of who you are. You should be proud of the people you've impacted in your life. And as much of a drunk as you may be, and as much as you throw up, I'll always be there to take care of you if you need it. Because I'm so grateful to have a person like you in my life, and I don't want anything to change. I want each and every one of you to remain an important part of my life, and I know you will. But I don't. What was it? I'll always hold a bag for you to throw up. I'll always lend an ear if you need it. And I know you never need it because you keep to yourself too much. Too much. A little, might I add. Because I'm the same way. But still, and always lend an ear. I will not lend you money though. That I did learn. I will not lend you money. Learned that the hard way. But I will bring you anything you need, whether it be Anakin Skywalker, whether it be Chili's Triple Dipper. I'll get you anything you need, and I'll be anything you need, because I want you as a friend for as long as I live. And you should be proud of the person you are, because I couldn't be more appreciative of you. And I wonder if I should do Jonathan's, because Jonathan's not there with you guys. Let me check what I know on time. Oh God. Emily just got her wisdom teeth removed. Jonathan Lopez. I'll do Jonathan one. I don't want to make him feel left out. Jonathan Lopez. I'll send this link to the group chat here. Anyways, Jonathan Lopez. In case you haven't heard. In case you haven't heard already, Jonathan Lopez has been one of my first friends. One of my first real friends. I should rephrase. I've known him in 5th grade. Miss Vivanco's class. He was the weird kid who did the Naruto run with his lunch bag in his hand. A goofy little run. I remember it explicitly. I won't do it. But he had this goofy little run about him. And I always thought, man, look at that little autistic kid. And to this day, I still think, man, look at that little autistic kid. But he's the little autistic kid I can call one of my best friends. And I'm truly grateful to have met Jonathan when I did, and to have known him in nursery together. Oh, we were in the nursery together, if you guys haven't known, because we're day ones. And it's as much of a reserved person Jonathan is. He keeps to himself a lot, like Haley. Doesn't say much, but he cares. He cares, and that's what's best about him. He cares so much about everyone, and that's, to me, is beautiful, you know. Jonathan is such a kind and caring soul that not many people realize. He's empathetic, he's compassionate, he's considerate. But not many people get to know that about Jonathan, because, again, he's so reserved that you probably won't know these things. He doesn't open up much. But when you've been around him long enough, you notice and you appreciate that man, because he's such a kind person. You guys probably don't realize. And he's always thinking about you guys. And I know he's always thinking of me. Well, not in that sense. You know, he should be. But he's always thinking about us. He's thinking about all of us. And we don't appreciate that enough. We don't appreciate the man that Jonathan is enough. And I want to stress how important this is. That Jonathan is an amazing person. You know, he's always someone I can resonate with, regardless of whether it's comic related or just anything in general. I can always resonate with Jonathan. You know, I always pick up on he always picks up on my references. I don't always pick up on his, but still, he's the other half of me. That he's my brother. He's my brother, man. I don't think I'd be here without Jonathan. You know, he was one of the first people to teach me what a friend actually is. And I'm truly grateful to have him in my life. You know, even though he still hasn't given me back my comic books, I'll still trust that man with my life. And I couldn't imagine what my life would be like without him. He's an amazing person, and I know whatever future he has, it'll be a bright one. Even if he doesn't think so, I know he's gonna do good things in life. I know he's gonna be a person that he'll be proud of, even though I couldn't be more proud of him as it is. You're gonna do good things, Jonathan. I want you to know that. And last but not least is, it's 10:06. Last but not least, we have Mr. Rosales, my son. My son Martin, he came out my womb in the 5th grade. He was already 5'6" when he came out my womb in the 5th grade. He was a demon, you know. He's always like all the way up here. And I remember meeting him. I'm like, damn, this kid is huge. And he still is. Well, not in the tall sense. He's 5'11", but he's huge. He's always eating, and that's why he's my brother. We're 2 parts. What do you call that? Okay. We're one and the same, you know. We've been around each other long enough to adapt each other's traits and become like so similar in a sense. And I couldn't be more grateful to have someone to have that with. You know, Martin's also always been really reserved and closed off. You know, not many people got to know how like funny of a person he is, or how smart he was. You know, he is smart, as much as I hate to admit it. I'm smarter though, of course. But not many people got to see that side of him. And that's why this year I'm so happy. Like, I couldn't be more proud that he was growing. You know, you guys have helped him grow out of his shell. And you guys got to see the like truly great of a person Martin is. Because as long as I've known it, the world needs to see it. And I'm glad that he's finally taking the steps to be that person. And I couldn't be more proud of him. He's always been by my side since 5th grade. You know, we kind of drifted in middle school, but we made it back. He introduced me to Alan. Alan's one of my best friends. He introduced me to Eric, to Troy, everybody. My life wouldn't be anything close as it is now if I didn't meet any of those people. And Martin's to thank for that. I wouldn't be here on my roof talking to you guys if that wasn't the case. You know, he's had such an impact on my life that is probably he could call his own, if that makes sense. But he's such a funny person. He's such a kind person. He's considerate. He's always willing to lend a ride. If you haven't picked up already, I need rides very often. He's always a yes man. You know, anything you're down for. You wanna go bowling, Martin? Hell yeah. You wanna go take a tango class? Hell yeah. You wanna go eat canes? He's probably brick. But he's always willing to do things. And that's exactly what I want in life. You know, I want people who are always willing to try new things with me, who are always willing to grow, who are always willing to step outside their comfort zone. And I found that in Martin, and I couldn't be more grateful to have found that in Martin. And I'm so glad you guys get to see that too, because it's been so long where it's just been closed off from everybody. And he should be insanely proud of who he's become, not only in his weight loss. I'm insanely proud of him for that, but also in his character. He's more social. He's more fluent in his words. He's able to make bonds with people that I've never seen before, and it's proud. I'm proud. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of my son. He's doing great things, and I know he'll continue to do great things. And I'll be here on the sidelines watching him. I'll be on the sidelines watching all of you. Because that concludes everything. That concludes our final years in high school. That concludes probably our functions for now. They're postponed. And that concludes this video. I'm glad, just to recap everything, I'm really happy I met you guys. I couldn't stress that enough. I'm insanely proud of each and every one of you. And I'm so glad to have met all of you guys when I did. Because God knows I needed people like you in my life. And you've made me insanely happy. As much as I don't say it enough, you guys are the best, and you guys will always be a part of my life, whether we drift off or whether we're still in the same area. You guys will always have a place in me. In my heart. You guys will always have a place in my heart. And I know you guys are people I'll tell stories about to my kids, to everybody who's willing to listen. They will know you guys' names. They will know of the people you are. They will know everything you've accomplished and everything you've helped me accomplish. You guys are awesome, and you deserve to be recognized as the amazing people you are. And I hope wherever life takes us, it treats you well and welcomes you with open arms as much as you welcome me with open arms. And I will forever be proud and grateful for each one of you. This is Fernando Chavez. Gone.